A hush falls over the crowd as the red velvet curtain rises slowly, revealing a magnificent sight before them. But this is no ordinary theater. This is the Palace of Versailles. And what unfolds before us is not just a play, but a meticulously choreographed dance of power, prestige, and intrigue. Louis XIV, the Sun King, is about to make his grand entrance. The year is 1681, and the time is the early hours of the morning. As the first rays of sunlight touch the gilded roofs of Versailles, they ignite a spectacle of unparalleled opulence and regality. And now he is here. Louis XIV, resplendent in a rich nightgown of woven gold, enters the room. His powdered wig is a towering monument to his importance, and his face, though lined with age, still bears the marks of the dashing young prince who once captivated hearts as the Sun King. Two marshals of France, their faces grave and determined, stand at attention by the bed, ready to serve their king. The king's valet, his face youthful yet bearing the weariness of his profession, moves with practiced grace, adjusting the drapes with a flourish. Meanwhile, the king's barber, his face creased with age and experience, awaits his royal employer's summons. A cardinal, robed in the finest silk, his face lined with piety and wisdom, takes his place among the assembled courtiers. Beside him, two bishops stand as silent sentinels, their presence lending an air of sanctity to the proceedings. They are joined by 6 courtiers, each a luminary of French nobility, their faces a mix of ambition, intrigue, and deference. One, tall and imposing, leans confidently against a chair, while another kneels before the king, ready to don his royal livery. The Duchess of Fontanges, her face framed by a magnificent hood, stands as a picture of feminine elegance and refinement. Her every movement speaks of grace and poise. A young lady-in-waiting, her face a canvas of youthful beauty and devotion, attends to the queen, ensuring her comfort and preparing her for her own grand entrance. Queen Marie Mancini enters the room, her presence commanding attention. Her attire, a masterpiece of fashion and luxury, reflects her elevated status. As she sits gracefully on the edge of the bed, we catch a glimpse of the woman behind the crown. The Dauphine, the young and radiant bride of the future king, makes her entrance, her face aglow with innocence and promise. Her presence underscores the continuity of the French monarchy. Mademoiselle de Blois, her face a mask of composure and duty, follows close behind the Dauphine, ever vigilant in her role as companion and confidant. With the royal family assembled, the time has come for the grand spectacle to begin. A fanfare rings out, signaling the commencement of the levee, the king's ceremonial rising. As the red velvet curtains part, the king's chamber is revealed in all its glory. Sunlight streams through the tall windows, illuminating the rich furnishings and gleaming surfaces. Ornate gold leaf glistens from every corner, creating an atmosphere of unparalleled luxury. In the center of it all sits the king's bed, a magnificent structure adorned with fine linens and topped with a canopy of shimmering gold. It is a throne in its own right, symbolizing the king's supreme power and authority. As the assembly of courtiers, clergy, and family members stand witness to the king's daily ritual, the room itself becomes a stage. Every gesture, every movement is carefully choreographed, a testament to the rigid protocols that governed life at the court of Versailles. The king, attended by his valet and barber, prepares for the day ahead. Each action is imbued with symbolism, each movement echoing the grandeur of the monarchy. The Cardinal Mazarin, his eyes closed in prayer, murmurs a blessing over the king, seeking divine favor for their most cherished monarch. The Sun King, fully awake now, stretches languidly, his face creased with a mixture of amusement and weariness. With a wave of his hand, he dismisses those who have stood vigil over his slumber, granting them a well-earned respite. The Duchess of Fontanges, her face betraying a hint of mischief, engages in animated conversation with a fellow courtier. Their words, though lost to us, likely carry whispers of gossip and intrigue, For life at Versailles was never merely about pomp and ceremony. With the morning sun streaming through the tall windows, the king makes his way to the grand mirror, his reflection a majestic sight to behold. His garments, meticulously chosen, speak of his status and power. Today, he is clad in a sumptuous robe of woven gold, its richness rivaled only by the jewels adorning his regal person. As the king inspects his appearance, his eye catches a slight imperfection, a wrinkle in his hose. With a practiced hand, he smooths out the fabric, ensuring that not a single detail escapes his meticulous attention. The cardinal, his face etched with solemnity, approaches the king, ready to deliver the news of the day, both mundane and momentous. He carries with him a sealed packet, its contents unknown, but its importance evident from the reverence with which it is received. With the solemn task completed, the cardinal retreats, leaving the king to his thoughts and the weighty matters contained within the letter. The Sun King, his face a mask of royal gravitas, turns his attention to the assembled courtiers, his eyes twinkling with amusement. In a voice that echoes with authority, he bids them good morning, acknowledging their presence and officially marking the beginning of another day at Versailles. The courtiers, their faces a mixture of admiration and reverence, respond with a chorus of greetings, their voices echoing through the vast chamber. The levee, the daily ritual that had brought them together, is drawing to a close. Soon the king will make his grand entrance into the throne room, commencing the day's political theater. The young Dauphine, her face a picture of innocence and grace, joins her husband in the center of the room, their union a symbol of the future of France. Around them, the courtiers and clergy stand as silent spectators, their presence underscoring the solemnity of the royal family's morning ritual. The Sun King, his face etched with the burdens of kingship, casts a knowing glance at the assembled company. In that moment, we glimpse the toll that absolute power takes on even the most revered of monarchs. The king, followed by the queen and the dauphin, makes his way towards the door, his steps echoing with regality. As they leave the room, the courtiers erupt into a flurry of activity, their movements sharp and purposeful. The levee has ended, but the day at Versailles has only just begun. The throne room at Versailles is a symphony of light and grandeur. Sunlight pours through the tall windows, illuminating the richly decorated walls and the magnificent throne at the far end. It is a setting designed to inspire awe and reverence. At the heart of it all sits the Sun King, his figure dominating the space. Louis XIV, resplendent in a robe of woven gold, his face a portrait of regal authority. His wig, a towering monument to his status, seems almost to touch the gilded ceiling above. The throne itself is a testament to the wealth and power of the French monarchy. Carved from solid gold and adorned with precious gems, it is not just a seat, but a symbol of absolute authority. The queen, her face framed by an elegant hood, stands proudly beside the king, her presence a reassuring constant in the midst of the shifting sands of courtly intrigue. The Grand Master of Ceremonies, his face grave with importance, stands attentively by the throne, ready to guide the events of the day. A Master of Ceremonies, his face betraying a hint of weariness, leans against a nearby chair, observing the scene with a world-weary air. 2 pages, their faces eager and attentive, stand flanking the throne, ready to serve their royal master at a moment's notice. A footman, his face impassive and alert, moves gracefully through the room, anticipating the needs of the court. The ambassador from Spain, his face a mixture of curiosity and reserve, stands near the throne, taking in the magnificence of the setting. His mission of diplomacy notwithstanding, he cannot help but be awestruck by the opulence that surrounds him. Amidst this grandeur the king holds court, dispensing justice, favors, and pronouncements that shape the destiny of France and its people. The Sun King reigns, and Versailles is his kingdom. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.